So Dawn, we were planning on doing this deck for about $2,000. How did we come out?
No. You talked me into this project by saying we could do it for around 500, maybe a little more. No. There was a lot of trickery involved.
I think there was some just total naivety too.
That I would go along with the $500 deck.
No,
right.
that I had no
Oh, you didn't know.
I had no idea.
So, bad news, the deck costs way more. We'll give you a ballpark, what we think it costs. The good news, it turned out way better than I could have imagined. Like, in my head, this did not look this cool at all. So,
Right.
I think it was worth it. Let's go back, show you again how we got here, and then show you the final product, because it looks pretty cool. So about a little over 2 months ago, we had this idea. We're like, hey, let's propose 3 different $500 projects. We didn't want to tackle anything big after we finished remodeling the middle of our house, and so we're like, let's just find a little summer project, you know, a couple weekends.
Yeah, a couple weekends.
And this
a nice quick 2-day project. Adeline said to us, how long is this gonna take? And we told her what we think. Once the bushes are gone and all the footings are in and done, 2 days. That's what I said.
We're gonna time it.
But remember the prerequisites.
I did have to replay that again, not to make fun of Tom, but because we're like you, where projects take 8 times as long as you think they're gonna, and they cost 4 times as much, I think. Is that about a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think this one probably cost about 7 times as much.
Yeah. So Tom was like, you were pretty sold on the deck project, right? Like, you kind of had it in your head that we needed a deck. And so, like all good projects start, you backed up your truck and started pulling up bushes.
This is a super duty. It's not even gonna notice.
Oh. Yes. Yep. Daddy was right.
Told ya.
Is this pretty fun for you?
Yeah. If I didn't have to unhook it.
Okay. You need one of the kids to come with to unhook it.
If I didn't have to get out of the truck, if I could stay in the truck.
So once the bushes were out, then you were able to start digging the holes for footings. Here in Minnesota, we have to go 42 inches deep.
42 inches deep, yeah.
Like, we could have put a child in there and not seen the top of their head. They have to go so deep. And we picked the hottest day of the year. What do you at?
Dude, I'm like halfway, a little over halfway.
Oh man.
On all of the holes, once I got probably 3 feet down, I hit like a pile of rock.
Yeah, so you went and rented an auger.
A 2-man auger.
A 2-man. Alright, this is a 2-man post hole digger, so I don't know what I'm doing to help, but we'll see.
We'll show everybody today that you were raised on a farm.
I know. Oh, we've officially reached that spot of like, what on earth were we thinking?
I was there a few hours ago.
But nonetheless, the footings got in, and so then you were able to start working on the framing. At which point, we got to start using the deck. Once the decking was on, like, we didn't need a railing. We started using it, and I think that's when we all fell in love, and we're just like, this is one of the best things we've ever done to our house.
Right, and as soon as the decking went down, even though the deck was nowhere near complete, I mean, obviously, once it's usable, you stop working on it.
Is that how we got here?
2 days.
There's also some truck projects going on too. And so it was actually during that time that I was like, well, if Tom's not gonna work on the deck, then I'm gonna work on the front of the garage.
Yep.
And so I did the like $30 makeover on the front of our garage. All right, so I just finished taping those off. It is so hot out. This happens a lot though. Tom's like, can I pressure wash? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna pressure wash it now. Apparently my project looks a little more fun than pulling an engine out of a truck.
Oh,
so,
have you stepped inside the shed?
you know, is it as hot in there as it is in the sun?
I think it's worse. You have a breeze out here.
All right, so this paint is drying like instantaneously because it's so hot out.
It's getting baked by the sun.
Yeah, and this is a gloss paint, so like you said, Tom, I think it's gonna make it look even more like windows.
Yeah, because it's shiny.
Ooh, that looks cool. Okay, so I was thinking we would wait to put the hardware on until like the last step, but
Tom has no patience.
But look how fast these go on. It's so awesome. No, I like that. That looks perfect. Not even knowing then that it was gonna make the black and white railing that we decided to do on the deck look even better.
Yeah.
I feel like if we hadn't done the garage part, I feel like the garage would have been lacking now that the deck...
Yeah, I think the garage would be quite blah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I'm glad I didn't even know that, I mean, I wasn't even thinking big picture. So then we got the railing up, and then I think you got that first section of railing done, and it was just like, okay, this is gonna be even cooler than what I originally thought.
So then these just sit on, and then the top rail kind of sandwiches everything together.
Tom, I'm already seeing how this is gonna look, and I think it looks awesome. Like, this is gonna look so good.
Imagine what it would look like if it was stained.
No, because I'm seeing the black window behind you, the white siding.
My life is just black and white in it.
My heart is so happy. You're gonna be so good at this by the time we're done with this whole deck railing. I feel like this is one of those tasks on like The Amazing Race where it's just like designed to be like incredibly frustrating.
You get one in and
then the other ones pop out. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, I could see that.
Really tests your relationship with your partner. That's why I'm just standing back here right now, in case you're wondering. If you're like, Dawn, why aren't you helping Tom?
Helps Tom. Well, there's a reason for that.
Yep. So one of the final things to do then was the skirting around the deck, and I mean, we were just gonna do
we're just gonna do black lattice.
Last week we were talking about how, like, around the bottom of the deck, we were just planning on getting black plastic lattice. I mean, that's what you put under a deck, right, for the skirting. Yeah. And then there was a great comment that showed a picture on Pinterest of using, the picture was horizontal boards, but that caused us to look a little bit further. And then we saw some pictures of people that did vertical boards underneath their decks. And so I was able to talk Tom into doing that. It's gonna look very fancy, I feel like.
It's very fancy for us.
Yeah. For other people, this might not be fancy.
For other people, they might be like, really? That's what you're doing?
That's fancy, huh?
That sure is fancy.
So Tom did this vertical board skirting, and I couldn't be happier with it. I think it looks perfect with the deck. And Tom did like a cool around the whole decking of the deck, and then also on the steps you did the picture frame style. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And so it took you way longer. Like, it took so much
way longer. There's a lot more extra bracing I had to do on just the deck and each stair tread to be able to do the picture frame style of decking. But I think it looks fantastic.
And then also then cutting the boards like that and around the posts and stuff. So it looks really cool, and I think it really like brings it up a level in how it looks. And this is where I say, yes, Tom was right. You all were right that said stain everything else. Don't paint it, just stain everything, and it looks really good.
It looks fantastic.
So originally we had a darker stain. Our logic behind it was that it would hide dirt and stuff on the decking, easier to take care of. But Tom tested it on a board. It was like,
it came out, like on the can it looked really great, but on the board it came out like a really, really red.
And not a good red.
No,
like a fake red. And so then Tom loaded up, went to the home improvement store, and got 2 different shades of cedar. So Tom's been working out here for a couple hours, maybe hour and a half.
Forever.
You've gotten a lot done, but it looks so awesome. Wow.
It's a good color.
Yeah, it's like really rich. Like I like the really warm tone to it, and yeah. So what is this one called? Do you know?
Mountain cedar.
Mountain cedar, and it looks incredible. As soon as you started putting it on, I was like, oh my goodness, it looks like we have a cedar deck. I mean, it's just such a rich color.
I mean, we do.
We just switched it out overnight. It's beautiful. I could not be happier with the color. I think it looks so cool. And another thing that we did was we used Cedar Side Products Cedar Shield on the decking, because that's the only way with treated lumber that we could stain it and paint it this same season yet. So actually after 3 days. So Tom put Cedar Side on all the decking, well, on everything.
Everything was coated with it. Whether it was treated or not treated lumber we used, everything got coated with Cedar Side.
What I've heard from others who have used this product and love it and swear by it is that it's foolproof. Like, you don't have to stress too much
Even
about.
Tom can do it.
Even Tom can do it. You don't have to stress too much about like the exact square footage. And like Tom said, it was super easy to apply. Like, you just sprayed it on.
Right. I even closed my eyes for part of it.
And so it's an extra layer of protection, and then again allowed us to be able to stain and paint this year, which we were so grateful for. And they have been so generous to offer a giveaway. So there's 3 different prizes that you can register for. A grand prize is a $70 value, and you can get some of the same product to use on your project. And then there's also 2 $20 sample packs. And so we use the Cedar Shield product for the wood treatment, but they have other great options for natural pest control, for bugs in the yard, for your pets, really safe options too.
Or even mosquito spray for humans, really good stuff.
Because you know, like, you don't always feel good putting the like outdoor, what is it called?
Okay,
Anyways, on the
okay, kids, exhale.
I know, right? And so it feels good to have some natural options. So to register for the giveaway, you need to subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below what project would you use a Cedarside product on, and then also subscribe to their channel as well. So I'll put a link for that in the description. And then we will draw 3 winners a week from today. So we'll put all the details. You'll know where to find them, but we are grateful that they sent us the product, but also that they have that product so that we could do this.
Right.
So,
Yep.
And so we roughly added up the cost, what we have into this deck. What's the size of it?
It is 12 feet by 18 feet, and then we redid our entryway staircase and all that, so that was extra.
So we used treated lumber, and then the railing was a little more expensive, which
is crazy because this is not quite as cheap as you can go, but it's pretty close.
it's pretty cheap. This is one of the cheaper options.
It's pretty close, yeah.
So they're black metal. Are they aluminum? Or are they?
They're aluminum. They're black aluminum railings with plastic ends hold them in. The black brackets hold the upper and lower rails on. And then the caps we put on are like $1.99 a piece or $1.
Yeah, we did go back to white caps then, which I like. I don't know, I felt the black was just making it a little bit busy, but
Yep.
I think the black looked fine too. We could have gone either way. And so roughly we think we have about $3,500 into it. Way, 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 way more than either of us thought it was going to cost.
Yeah, apparently lumber is expensive.
Yeah, it kind of adds up. And so, but it's fine. Like we said in a different video, I mean, we had planned to go on a 2-week road trip with the camper this summer, and so we're kind of like, well, I guess we're just putting that money into a deck. But we use it.
And we'll enjoy it for years.
Well, you know, I don't feel bad about that because we use it every single day. The kids are always out here. We sit out here.
They were upset when I told them that they couldn't go on it for 3 days while we pressure washed it, cleaned it, and stained it. They were like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
So it feels like, I mean, it kind of feels like we've added square footage to our house. So from that perspective, and obviously we've added property value too, even though we don't plan to sell. And so from that perspective, it does feel very worthwhile.
okay, we're trying to justify the okayness of this as much as possible.
No, it's me justifying it to myself because, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money to spend on anything, so. But thrilled with how it turned out. I mean, it turned out way better than I imagined.
Like, I know that we're calling it done, but I'll put another coat of stain over the whole deck before we're like...
Well, and the other part that isn't completely done are our railings going up and down the steps. So we actually ended up going an hour and 20 minutes away yesterday to get the little, like, bendy things that go in the bottom of
the angles. So for the staircase, the spindles are angled, so the little plastic part need to be at an angle. Nobody had those anywhere.
So we drove over an hour to get them. But what else were we missing when we got back home? We found out.
More of these metal black brackets, which
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was short on.
You just thought you grabbed enough when you initially got them. So we weren't able to finish those, and then they weren't in stock at the one.
And those ones, when I got those, I went to 5 different Menards.
That's right.
And I drove all the way to the north side of the cities, and I bought every single one they had.
So we're learning not to take our building materials for granted is the moral of the story. So we're not able to finish those just yet, but that's okay because, I mean, really, the rest of it looks awesome. Tom also is going to extend the sidewalk that leads up to those steps over there. So
yep, there'll be some concrete work to do.
So we'll do that too, but otherwise, I mean, we can fully enjoy it right now. It looks awesome. All right, so what's next then, you ask, right? The main thing though that is wrong with this camper, and the reason we got a really good deal on it, is because
It has water damage. You
Yeah.
heard us correctly. We bought a second camper with water damage. So I used to be in manufacturing, and so these are my test samples. This is a camper floor. Can you tell? Camper floor. Anyone who knows about craftsmanship of camper floors? We're going to be reconstructing the camper floor next time. We have had a commercial fan and dehumidifier running for the last 48 hours, non-stop.
Yeah, so it actually, we were able to moisture test it. Everything that's left is dried out. So we feel like you pulled out everything that needed to be pulled out. So that's good. So that feels good. And so we'll do like kills paint over anything that's not getting pulled out.
And this is all hard. It was just water surface on it. It didn't saturate and rot like it did over here. So none of this is soft. It's all totally fine. We'll square all this up. With this new camper, to reconstruct the floor, I will be doing things a little differently than what I did on the last camper. So we have the membrane underneath, and then there's a layer of plywood, and then 1.5 inches of foam, and then another layer of plywood. So I epoxied these together
To make test
materials. These are my test samples.
Yeah.
So good news, the epoxy did not burn either style foam.
Okay.
Other good news is I know not to use this foam because
you could do it better.
Yeah, I was gonna say try in a corner. So
Tom can squish it better. Yeah, so that actually flexed quite a bit. I was surprised.
And that's just by hand. Imagine if my big old self stood on it. I think I'd probably crush it. This one, I've stood on.
This is like rock solid.
I've stood on this one. I cannot get it to move one bit. So we will be reconstructing the camper floor using this setup to create strength and rigidity.
Because we felt in our old camper, you did use that same foam, but it just flexed when you walked on it. We knew it was fine, but it just didn't feel
It kind of moved around a little bit, and we hadn't been in a whole lot of campers, so we thought, well, it's a really thin, cheap floor. Maybe that's what camper floors are like. And so I still wasn't good with it. So this is what we're doing to the new camper. Epoxy all the layers. It'll create a really strong base.
And then you also tested all the different types of plywood at the home improvement store.
I did. I may have grabbed the end of every piece of 1/4-inch plywood at Menards and squeezed and see if I could crush it by fingers. This was the only one I couldn't. It is birch. So if you want birch plywood, it's the strongest. Even oak. Oak was snapping.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So we feel like we've figured out the right process and materials. So then we're going to get started this coming week.
I'm excited because I've been like brainstorming good ways to do this for a while now. And I think you're getting ready to give me the green light, right?
Oh yeah, no, the holdup was get the deck done, get the deck done. Would you just get the deck done? Then you can do whatever you want. So yeah, now this is done and you can do whatever you want now.
All right, cool. Well, we will catch you next time.
Oh, you're literally gonna go start right now? Okay.
You told me I could go.
All right. Well, again, find those details for the Cedarside giveaway down below. We hope you have a really good weekend. Let us know what you're up to. Let us know if it's hot and humid where you are. Oh my goodness, we're sweating today trying to finish things up.
If it is, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, so, but we always love hearing what you're up to too. And so we love you. We hope you have a good weekend and we'll visit with you again soon.
Bye-bye.